Brother shared this story today, he said directly. Puge gave me anonymity. As usual, Kyangzi, this sounds like an old fan, must satisfy him. Kyangzi, who wears makeup, is from Nanyang. When he was 17, he didn't want to study. His parents worried that he would mess around in society when he was very young, so they wanted him to learn a craft. At that time, there was a relative of his family who opened a repair shop on the 81st Road in the city, specializing in repairing Iveco vehicles. In those years, the business of Iveco was very hot. His repair shop was full of old people, apprentices like Kyangzi who were 17 or 18, and some masters in their 30s and 40s. The story we are going to tell today is a personal experience told by the master from Zamadian. In 2002, this master was still working in Zamadian. At that time, he was also repairing cars, and the repair shop was open 24 hours a day. One night around 3 o'clock in the middle of the night, the boss came to the factory and told them that there was a big job today. Before he could finish speaking, a large tow truck pulled in a bus with no half of the carriage. According to the boss, this car had overturned into a ditch, and the driver was due to fatigue driving. The vehicle was loaded with 40 people, but there were at least half more passengers with seats. Of course, in that era, this was very common. The car overturned, and there were no more than a dozen people injured at the scene, and the others with broken arms and legs could also be rescued and taken to the hospital. At that time, the owner of the bus told the owner of the repair shop that he had to use this to repair the car. Then the boss asked the mechanics to see how to repair it and give a price. The master went up to have a look and saw that the seats and so on were all flipped forward, some of which had fallen during the roll, and the car had a very strong smell of blood. The master felt nauseous and wanted to vomit, so he came down first. He walked around the car and looked at how to repair it. After that, he wrote a list of the parts and prices needed for the repair for the boss. The owner of the repair shop and the owner of the bus took this list and left first. After the two bosses left, the master saw that it was almost 4 o'clock, and felt that this was a big job, and it would be done when there were more people during the day. At that time, his apprentice said, my head hurts a bit. I'll go home and rest first." Of course, the apprentice agreed. The master changed his clothes, washed his hands, and rode his own 28-inch bicycle home. When he left, he saw his apprentice still washing, waved in the direction of the apprentice, and shouted that he was leaving. The master's home is very close to this repair shop, and 10 minutes after riding his bicycle home, he just caught his wife getting up to go to the toilet. His wife said, "The husband is back, I'll make you something to eat, you just sit in the living room." The two were talking in the living room, and their 2-year-old daughter suddenly wanted to urinate and called for her mother. His wife took her daughter to the toilet. After returning from the toilet, the daughter saw her father sitting on the sofa and said hello to her uncle. Her father was stunned and laughed, saying, "Baby, you're sleepy and confused, who are you calling uncle?" The daughter did not answer, then said, "Wow, there are many people at home." At this time, the master was still very confused and asked where there were people. "Am I the only one in the living room?" "What did the daughter say?" "Dad's sofa is full, one is sitting on the refrigerator, one is lying on the ground, and one is standing next to Mom." At this time, the master's hair stood on end, and he also understood what his daughter said. Then he ran to the kitchen to get a kitchen knife. According to the daughter's guidance, the daughter suddenly cried. His father asked him, "What's wrong with the child?" The child said, "Uncle's face is full of blood," and he took off his glasses to show him. When the master heard this, he opened the door, chopping and scolding. "I have no grudges with you, I came home to sit for a while, you should go where you should go, don't scare my daughter. I will smash the pot and sell the iron to drive you away." Later, the master also said that he had chopped for about half an hour, and the daughter also fell asleep in her mother's arms, and it was also dawn, and he also fell asleep. But this master also said that from then on, if there was a life in the accident car, he would never get on the car to look at it again. He felt that when he said goodbye to his apprentice that day, he might have let the people in the car think that they were saying hello to him and then went home. So, some words really can't be said casually, for fear that you will hit the nail on the head. You are facing the code. Well, let's see you in the next story.